Within Calvinism, the doctrine of limited atonement was really the big point of struggle, because there's this idea that Jesus died only for the elect, right? He only died for those who were chosen in eternity unto salvation, and that God had kind of passed over the others. Right? So he destined them eternally for damnation. There are different ways of expressing that. There's a more active way of viewing it, a more passive one. It's more just that God kind of chooses not to give them any grace. But either way, whatever double predestination view you have, you just end up with this problem when you have faith, or believe you have faith, that there's this reality that, well, if I don't actually have faith, I might not actually be elect. And if I'm not elect, Jesus didn't die for me. There is a kind of introspection that's very common in Calvinism about the question of, is my faith real faith or is it false faith? Within Calvinism, it's believed that a true believer, someone who really has faith, is regenerate, cannot actually lose that, right? You can never fall away. This causes an issue just in people's personal experience, because like a lot of us know somebody who seemed to be a very faithful Christian who apostatized, who left the faith. And so we have this question of, well, this guy, now I'm being told this person didn't have faith at all, but that person certainly seemed like they believed, right? Then there's the question of, but what about me? How do I know I'm not like that?
Because we were very similar.
Yeah. And you might say, that person seemed to have a lot more fruit than I had. So maybe I have false faith. Maybe Jesus didn't die for me. This kind of crisis is very common, I think, among Calvinists, which is why even among Calvinists right now, actually there's been a revival of a universal atonement view in Calvinism, as there's been work done on a particular theologian, John Devenant, who has a view of more universal atonement that was apparently kind of accepted as within the bounds of the Westminster Confession. So I think there are some Calvinists that are kind of moving away from that, which I think is very good, because a lot of people have had the same crisis, you know. So what I found in Lutheranism was two things. One is universal atonement, right? So that there's an understanding that Christ died for all people, and that means I know he died for me because I'm a person, right? So that's the universal promises of God. But then you have also this other notion of particularity in God's promises, that not only does God give you Christ in a universal sense on the cross, but he delivers that to you individually, right? So when I hear the word of God, when I hear the absolution, when I receive Holy Communion, when I'm baptized, I receive the promises of God personally. Like, I appropriate them. And so God says, not only does he say you are forgiven in a general sense, he doesn't just say like humanity is forgiven. He says you, specifically you, are forgiven, right? When he gives you the means of grace.